Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome to our 5th patrol in our campaign game with Raiders of the Deep from Compass Games. In our 4th patrol, we took down 2 British freighters. I'm hoping our run of luck continues. Spring 1915, specifically May, and we're back out to sea. Let's get started. Spring 1915, specifically May of 1915, and we're off on our 5th mission. Our previous 4 missions, we've had 3 successes and 1 failure, sinking a total of 4 ships and 8,200 tons. Now, reports from our compatriots have been very positive over the past couple months, so we're hopeful that this will be another prodigious patrol here by which we can add to our tonnage of enemy ships sunk. We have heard that the enemies are designing a type of bomb that can be exploded underwater and trying to sink U-boats that way, but we have yet to see any reports that that has been deployed in the war. So far I think we're okay there. We have also heard reports of enemy warships disguised as merchant ships. So we'll want to be on the lookout for that. And lastly, cruiser rules are no longer in effect, so we can attack enemy merchant vessels, unescorted enemy merchant vessels freely, either underneath or on the surface. So with all that being said, let's take a look at our patrol route, our U-boat, and then we're off to sea. By now our route is pretty well known. We've got a couple of transit zones. We'll hunt 3 zones of the British Isles and then head back. And our U-9 Teufelsfish is armed the same way. We've got our G6 torpedoes, our better torpedoes in the forward tubes, and then the aft tubes have the C6 with our weaker torpedoes, the C35s or the 91s, in our reload compartments. However, again, these have been improved. Their dud capacity, their dud frequency is now lower so that all of our torpedoes have about a 1/3 chance of being a dud. We are armed, ready for sea. Let's get out into the ocean. U-9 leaves Wilhelmshaven and heads out through its first transit zone, hoping for good luck through these zones again. We get a 4, not a 7. We've continuously rolled 7s in here. A 4 is nothing of note, which is exactly the way we want it. Let's head into our second transit zone. Oh, a 12. Okay, so boxcars means some things have happened. So a 12 means 2 things. The first time you roll a 12 on a patrol, you skip the designated result. So we actually don't look at the ship result. That doesn't matter here. The first time we roll is a random event, and we're going to roll on the random events table. Good things can happen and bad things can happen. Let's roll and see what happens here. But there's one other thing we'll talk about right after this. We get an 11. Severe storm. A wicked storm prevents all combat operations and forces the U-boat to ride it out. No encounters occur in this travel box and the next. Oh, okay. So that's not great, but it's not bad, right? So I assume that this travel box, of course, means the one we're currently in. The next travel box here would be the British Isles one, so we skip that one and just go to that one. So it's a negative effect, but it could have been a lot worse. We could have had the entire patrol aborted. So we hit a severe storm in the springtime here in May, and we skip through that box. Now, that actually, for the most part, that answers my next question as well. Because the 12 here, the natural 12 that you roll in an encounter, also has a separate effect. This separate effect for every natural 12 that you roll in an encounter box, you get in this game what's called an encounter multiplier, which means that we are going to roll a 1-die-6. We can save this for a future patrol, but every time you come in, at the beginning of the patrol, you roll a 1d6 with a couple of possible modifiers, and that's the number of potential encounters you have in each zone. So normally we have 1, but if we use that multiplier and we roll like a 4, we would have 4 encounters in each zone. So we definitely want to save that encounter multiplier. It's kind of like a mega patrol. We want to save that encounter multiplier for when the odds are with us. I was thinking we would use it right away because the hunting's good. We could use the victory points and it might be a good time to use it. But now that we've skipped the first one, I think we definitely want to save it because we'd only be able to use it for 2 zones instead of 3. So we were not going to use it this patrol. We're just going to make a note of it that we've got this encounter multiplier for future patrols. And with that, we've skipped through our transit zones. We are now into our second British Isles zones. So altogether, not as bad as I thought it might be when I saw some of those events there. You can have some pretty nasty things happen. Let's go back to happy hunting. Having said the happy hunting, we do need some good rolls here because we need to sink something. A nice big 7 here would be pretty good. Let's see what we get. An 8, a ship. Excellent. Okay. Now, one thing that we do have to roll here, this is an unescorted ship and it's by itself. So we are going to need to check to see whether it's a Q ship or not, which is one of those British military ships disguised as merchant ships. So Q ship is basically a very straightforward roll on this chart. We need a 3 to 12. A 2 is a Q ship. Anything else is a standard freighter. Patrol can proceed as normal. It's a 7. So this is a standard freighter. We're going in. Let's see if we can sink something. First up, we need to roll for the size of the ship. On a 1 to 5, it's small. On a 6, it's a large. 5. We have yet to get anything large. I mean, we haven't encountered that many ships. I'm not complaining about our luck, but it'd be nice to get something big here. But this is a small freighter. May 1915 gives us this list of possible targets. Black die will represent the first digit. We get a 63. Oh, this is big. The 3,800 ton Ethiopia. Okay. Now the question is, do we want to go in and try to get this as a prize ship, or do we want to go in and try to sink it? I kind of want to guarantee that we have a successful mission, so let's go in and see if we can sink this one. And then if we get another encounter in the next patrol, we might go in and try to take a prize to double its tonnage. As much as I would like to get the double tonnage here, the odds, I think, are, with our small deck gun and using those cruiser rules, the odds aren't all that exciting that we're going to have a successful. I think our odds are much better to sink it and we'll take the tonnage, get a successful mission, and then we will risk trying to take one for a prize in the next encounter if that happens. Alrighty, so the first thing we need to do is to see whether it's day or night. Hoping for night, that doesn't really matter too much. We seem to always encounter our ships in the day. This is a 3, which means that we are encountering the ship in the day. Doesn't really matter unless things go sideways. It will dictate our range though. We're going to come in on the surface during the daytime. It doesn't really matter because this is an unescorted ship, so the odds are pretty favorable for us. So let's figure out our attack. The way this works is basically that we can designate one type of ammo, see the result, then designate a whole nother type of ammo, forward torpedo tubes, aft torpedo tubes, etc. And then once we expend all of our ammo like that, then we have to roll to see if an escort shows up. So we'll get as many as 3 attacks on this. The first thing that does make sense to use is our deck guns here to see if we can put it out of its misery early on here with the deck guns without expending torpedoes. All right, so with our wimpy 37mm deck gun, we get 2 shots, 0 to 8 to hit because we're at close range. There are no bonus modifiers. I was thinking maybe our experienced veteran crew would get us a modifier, but it does not. We need 0 to 8 to hit. Let's get a couple of hits. A 9, we miss with our first rounds of deck gun ammo, and then a 6. So we do hit once, but our 37mm deck gun here has a +3 modifier. Let's see if we get any damage here. Oh, we get a 6 + 3 is a 9, 0 damage. This Ethiopia here is just laughing at us. I hate to expend our torpedoes, but I think we're going to need to. Let's put out our C6s on this here and take the shots. I don't want to risk an escort showing up yet, and we only have 1 more patrol box to go. So let's fire away with our torpedoes here. These do give us an additional benefit. It's a -1 modifier, so we need a 0 to 9 at close range to hit this because it's an unescorted surface torpedo here. No other bonuses are involved. And then the dud is a 1 to 2. Fire 1. 7, and it hits. Excellent. If we hit here, this is over for the Ethiopia. Fire 2, a 5, and a 6. Both of them hit. Both of them aren't duds. We've got it. So now we just need to roll for damage. Let's roll for our damage. 2 hits with torpedoes. We get a 1, which does 5 damage. Oh my goodness, we shattered this ship. And then a 5, which does 1 damage. A total of 6 damage. The Ethiopia slides underneath the surface. We've got a successful patrol under our belts, and this encounter ends. It really does feel like a happy time here for U-boat hunting. We head into our final zone. Although to be fair, it would have been nice to not have to sacrifice that first zone to the storm there, but so I'm kind of happy if we can rack up successful patrols, especially with our U5 U-boat. This is the weaker of the 2 starting U-boats, so I feel like anytime we can sink a ship on a patrol like this, given that we're only searching 3 zones and we have a wimpy deck gun and 6 torpedoes, I'm making up all kinds of excuses, aren't I? But anyway, I'm happy when we get a successful patrol. Let's go to our last zone here of this May 15, 1915 patrol. Get a 6. Ship plus escort. Okay. Interesting. So this will be more challenging. We'll have to survive a run on our ship afterwards, but I think we definitely want to see what it is. So let's see first if it's a small freighter or a large freighter. Get a small freighter, of course. There are no large freighters in our world. Let's roll to see which ship this is. I mean, we'll definitely go in. I'm just going to try to figure out how we want to attack this. I was hopeful there wouldn't be an escort here. Looking on the May 1915 chart, we get a 46 for small freighter here. It's, oh my goodness, it's the 200-ton Lucerne. 200 tons. Well, this does tell us if we are going in a day, we're going to try to shift to night. So that's the first thing we're going to do, because we definitely want the advantage of the night when we've got an escort around us here, so that we can get in, blow this up, and then get out of here. And it's only 200 tons, so this is hardly worth really going after and risking a lot of casualties or risking our lives for here. So hoping for a 4, 5, or 6 for a night. It is 2, it is daytime. So we are going to try to shift to night. So we're going to follow this and basically shadow it and hope that it can stay close to it, stick around with it so that we can counter it at the nighttime. And I believe, yes, so we need a 1 to 4 to successfully shadow this. Ah, we missed it. Okay, so we do not successfully shadow this ship and escort. We lose it. The encounter ends. You know, okay, it was a 200-ton ship. It would have been nice to get it, but I think that was the right move to risk it. It wasn't worth a daytime attack for something so small. So, you know, that we've already got, what, 3,800 tons, which was a pretty juicy target for a small freighter. Let's head home, gentlemen. We are on the U9, heading through our first transit zone here. I mean, the good thing about this, right, is that we have this encounter multiplier, which really could be a very big patrol for us. We get an 8, so we are uneventfully through our first transit zone. One more transit zone on the way to Wilhelmshaven. We can see it off in the distance. We get an 11, nothing eventful there. Almost another 12, but through an 11, and we are back in port. 5th patrol, done, success, check. Let's wrap it up. Patrol number 5 is in the books, our 4th success with 1 failure. We only sank 1 ship. That severe storm kind of created some missed opportunities and shortened our patrol somewhat. But we did make the most of our hunting opportunity. That Ethiopia, by the way, at 3,800 tons, was the 2nd heaviest small freighter available for us as a target in May of 1915. So we did have some luck there, although we did lose that 200-ton Lucerne. That's a little bit of a missed opportunity, but I think we made the right moves. The numbers and math just the hunting gods did just not favor us in this case. So 3,800 tons added to our 8,200 previous tons gives us a nice even total of 12,000 tons. We're still looking for our first to break into that draw category. We're looking to get to 50,000 tons. So we have a lot of work to do before we even break even in the game. However, of big note is that multiplier, that mission patrol modifier that I might be tempted to use on the next mission, which would give us a 1 die roll times 4 applied to all 3 zones. If we could roll a 6, it'd be amazing. That'd be like 6 patrols in 1. I mean, we'd expend all our torpedoes pretty quickly. We'd be down to our 37mm deck gun, which makes me think I'm tempted to almost wait until we could potentially get a U-boat upgrade, which happens, we need to get to 50,000 tons, I think, to do that. So yeah, it might make more sense to just use it, burn it up, and see how many tons we can get right away. Because the hunting's pretty good right now, and that's not always going to be the case as the politics and war events change as we get further into World War I. This is a good hunting time for us right now. With that being said, we will refit. No other bonuses or opportunities available for us at this point in time. We have to have 6 successful missions now in order to get a next crew upgrade, so we need 2 more for that to work. So just basically we're going to refit the sub. There was very little, minimal, just sea-worn damage here. Nothing of particular note that needs to be fixed. So we will be in harbor, in port, through the month of June, and then back out to sea in midsummer. July 1915 will be our next patrol. I'll put a link to it as soon as it's ready. Comments and thoughts are always welcome. We'll be back out to sea soon. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day.